All right, I think we're on. We on? Yeah, we're on. Let me see. Anything? No, that's okay. I'm just making sure nothing has my name on it. Nope. Doesn't look like it. All right. So, we need this game done. We need this visual novel done. If you saw, I just put on Twitter, even though my resume isn't make or break with this, having any kind of completed project is a positive thing. It shows initiative, whatever you want to call it. So we're going to keep trucking through this. It's going to start to become weirder as we move through now, which is a good thing for most of us to see. Some things I will finish on my own after this, like how we took down notes, sticky notes on like making certain background music a little bit louder, all that stuff. That stuff I'll get done after the stream. So my goal is to get the rest of this set. This is the goal that I have placed upon myself. And you guys have been with it with me. I know a lot of you, it looks like by the analytics, come like at 9 or 10ish. So right now I'm not talking to anybody, but if you're here, hello. Let's do a broken bat to get started.
Broken bat single. I'll need a pinch runner. What's that, kid?
You need a pinch runner?
Speak up, please.
That's so sad. Okay. Good. Good. You're here.
Shark attack 4. Shark attack 4. Robot.
Why, thank you for being here.
Attack the ship.
Okay. So let's go.
Shark attack. Go back. Go back. Shark attack. Shark attack 4. Revenge of the trawler.
What?
The story. In the third shark attack, which is a variation on Jaws, made in Korea.
Well, let's.
The sharks had a baby.
We're good.
What else you got going?
We're gonna wait for this to stop.
What other?
Okay. Okay, and I think that's good. Okay. And let's see if we are, though we haven't talked much about animation. Okay, animations are definitely in the world of films, though we haven't talked much about animation. Live action films are basically planned out with a sequence of drawings called... I keep talking about storyboards in like different ways. But as of now I don't need to change that. Oh, side note, let me quickly... I know some people do not like the AI art, but I've been getting a kick out of it recently, and I shouldn't, but I am. And it is what it is. So right now I'm gonna write back you toaster woman. I'm gonna put a text prompt of toaster woman, and we're gonna see what because we're gonna have to find a balance between Toaster, we got a few. Let me try one more, and then I'll put it over on this side. What do we want? Vacuum. Vacuum. Vacuum cleaner. Opera thinger. And we're gonna put that under portraits, then we're gonna put that under the night cafe, because I had an idea a long time ago about a vacuum cleaner wanting to become an opera singer. Oh my, oof. Let's do one more, and we're gonna do it in the anime. Okay, and then that's it. Then we'll focus. I'll pick one out. Oh. Oh my. Here, let's I'm gonna show like the interesting one. Okay. Let's see which one. There. Okay. So now I'm done. So this is what, when I put vacuum cleaner opera singer and I put it under the portrait mode, that I got that, which I think is, I don't know, it's just interesting. I don't know how it does it, but if you see through this visual novel, I have commissioned probably, I won't say how many because it kind of ruins the game, but a lot. I commissioned a lot of people. Now, this is what happens when you put the same this is what happens when you have the same phrase, but you put it under the CGI, like, Pixar area. He is a cheeky devil, isn't he? Or she. Who knows? Oh man. He or she knows what he wants. That's all I'll say. Okay. But next time I would like for you to do something live action. Fair enough. I still really like it personally. Have you animated in the past? Just a little. Mostly doodled around. Mostly doodle. Mostly doodle. Mostly doodle around in my notebook while class is going on. I feel like I've said I look forward to it a lot from different people. I may do more in the future. Whatever. Ururu can't handle compliments. Oh, Naggies. Okay, let's get through. This is third round. Luckily, if I change a sentence, I can have it change in all of the other ones, which is great, because sometimes these chunks of dialogue are presented multiple times. So let's get to Naggies. Let's get to Naggies. Sounds good. Blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah, blah. Naggy. Alright. Let's get this going. Ready. I swear, I did not read it when I said that. I did not read that when I just said that. That is crazy. That is creepy. Creepy crazy. I got a friend I got a friend to help act in this one. I think that works. That's great, you're collaborating with others. How long did it take to shoot? Around 30 seconds. Including the actual... Should have taken a bit longer for planning, around about 30 seconds. Alright. Should have taken a bit longer for planning. Planning? What on earth could you plan in less than a minute? Question mark. Well, I was like, hey Naka, can you stand over there and dance to this music? And I turned it on, and she just danced for a little bit, and we called it a day. Let's make that 2. So I turned it on, and she danced for a little bit. And then I then called it a day. Okay. Just one take then? Uh-huh. Do we need to laugh? I'm gonna take the haha away. What's a take? You know, those slight things that people yell and they clap, you know those slight things that people yell and clap? That's a horrible sentence. You know those black and white plate with little you know those things they clap together really loud before someone says action. I think I'll go with that. Not a clue. Might as well go over that. Might as well go over it. Might as well explain what a slate is. That get rid of the haha. Might as well go and explain what a slate is now. Might as well go and explain what a slate is now. Might as well go and explain what a slate is now. A slate. Might as well go and explain what a slate is. We might as well. I'll end the now. Also called a clapboard, a clapper. It's a tool that all shoots start with. It's vital to show it shows vital information on what scene, take, production, date, etc. Your editor will be clueless on what's going on without these references before each shot. Without these references. Let's get that. Without these references. Many slates are arranged differently, but most have the same information on them. Well, okay. So you'll be able to figure out any slate if you understand the main parts. Easiest parts to remember. Hold on. The easiest parts are when it's the easiest parts. The easiest parts are the names. of the production, or the names of the production easiest part is to list the production / what are you doing, producer PROD, and director DIR, and camera. The date that is shot is also that is the date it is shot at. It's pretty easy to figure out. Top 3 sections are the most important to keep your production organized. Let's say you had your friend Naka. Right. Let's say you shoot multiple versions of her dancing with the same camera positioning. Okay. Like 30 separate versions of the same dance with the camera in doing the same exact thing each time, moving or not. Okay, we got that. You could press the record button, have her redo the shot multiple times, and go through the footage and find out what you want. Press the record button, have her do her dance, and then go through the footage to find what you want. This would cause you to watch the whole thing and have to edit parts you'd want out of the final product. Okay, this is a word jumble. Okay. Okay. Let's... Shit. I guess I have to write that code to go over that spot every single time. Okay. Let's say you shoot... Let's say you shoot multiple versions with the same camera positioning. Let's say you have her... Let's say you have her dance the same choreography. I'm gonna say choreography. Hold on. Like before, I gotta make sure. There. Okay. The same choreography. How do we spell that? I love how I can spell horribly wrong, but it still works out. Let's say let's say have her dance the same exact choreography multiple times to find the best one. that word? There's got to be a sentence that sounds better. Let's say you have her dance the same exact way multiple times to find the best one. Whole thing. You could just turn the camera on and have her repeat herself as many times as you want. Okay, let's copy and paste this. If you do it this way, you may have trouble going through all of the footage to find the point, find the version that you wanted originally. This can be done This can be a way you go about things, but you may also want to stop and start the camera after each dance or take is completed. This makes it so instead of having one long clip with 20 takes or repeats of the action, okay, you would have 20 separate clips of each take. This makes it easier not only on yourself, but the editor doesn't have to pick around the large clip to find what you were looking for. Okay. So So listing the take that you, let's see, does that need to be that you are on is extremely important, useful when using a clapboard. Is that how I'm gonna see the instructional part? Like this is gonna be the most difficult to go through, but it is what it is. Let's see, where did I have clapboard? I'll call it a clapboard. Using a clapboard. Using a clapper? Clapboard. Clapboard, I say. Okay. So every time you would restart the same shot, it would be take 1, take 2. Let's take 2, take 3, etc. Okay. And if you're going along and you have a question on what I'm talking about with the film stuff, let me know. Now, scenes are written down not only as numbers, but letters as well. Now, scenes are written down not only as numbers, but letters as well. A duet of organizational symbols. The number will represent the actual scene itself. The scene is the actual area that you are shooting in. Let's see. Define scene. I'm not satisfied with that definition. So that's something I would go back in because I don't want to do research during this. A bedroom or a park. As you can see, this is scene 23, for example. You'd usually put the name of the object in the middle of the... You would usually put the name of the object in the middle of the shape to make it easier. Let's... Gosh, some of this stuff is horrible. See, I don't need to spoon feed you what that is. I can just say the large square is a table, the small square is the small square represents table. Small square represents a chair, and the circle represents a plant. Purple boxes. Oh, wait. The two lines jutting out of the bottom left represent the door opening. The two sections on the top line are used for windows. Okay. I'll say how to know the difference. Let's see. One, 4, 5, 3, 6. Door, window, representation. Because, yeah, this is the last time I'm going through this, so we're making sure It's all set. Purple boxes represent the cameras. The cameras, and the arrows are where the camera is looking. So scene 3 and had... So this is scene 23. Fuck. So this is scene 23. So you can see... that one camera is labeled 23. Then we start to add letters as we add more cameras to the end of the number. See, this stuff gets me nervous on 100% writing it correctly. Okay. And from there, the scene and number takes would start to work with each other. Each other, is that one word or two? Wait, what just happened? Wow, something self-voicing. It can read itself? I didn't. I'll look into that. Each other or each other. Each other is always two words. So let's... No results. I am a smart person. And from there, the scene and take numbers would start to work with each other on the slate. These slates are also called clap. Why are... These slates are also called clapper boards on the slate, or clapper board. Why are these sometimes called? Why are these sometimes referenced as clapper boards? Question mark. What the clapper does on a slate is make a loud noise and gets everyone EVERYO. Everyone set ready for the shot, and also for the editors to match audio with visual. ... Let's finish this up, Yuri. Only gonna give you a minute before my attention span is gone. There we go. Yay. Fine. Give me another minute. Okay. Now, roll can be a bit confusing. It can be used referencing a new roll of physical film that's put in the camera. That is... We're almost out of this. While it references... Now it usually references memory cards and external hard drives. Audio will also be in separate roles in memory cards. Some like to use letters, and then numbers organize their roles, like WOO. Woo! Time's a ticking. I don't know why you're celebrating. No, the W is the 3 zeros, but I guess the first row will be 1, so let's make it A001. Audio can be assigned letters towards the end of the alphabet, so A11 would be something like W001 would be on the bottom. Almost out of time. How much time do I have? Wait. Okay, let's... Almost out of time. How much time do I have? I'm gonna make that be me saying it. Got about 7 seconds. Things like this can take a scene outside what time of day, frames per second, blah blah blah. Time. Ha ha ha. Okay, let's... Okay, here's what we're gonna do. It's gonna be kind of scary doing it this way, but we're gonna do it this way. Alright, we're gonna finish off till it says time. Ha 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 ha. You take and talk about things so seriously, Yuri. So I wasn't talking too complicated. I'll probably not use that stuff for now, honestly. Plus, I'm most likely gonna forget it if it's not in the VHS tapes. Great. Let's put in my film now. Okay, here we go. Ready for this bad boy? Oh my god. Okay. Where is it? So, since Nagi says the time thing, I forgot that this is said multiple times. So I need to do... Let's go at the top here. Okay, so I start there, and then I end with you take things so seriously. Start there, and end with you take things so seriously. Okay. Referencing it there. Let's make sure we get to the bottom of this. We take things so seriously. Give me another minute. Take things so seriously, Pete. All right, ready. And delete. And paste back in. God help us all. That's all I'll say. We gotta do that. So that was label slate is defined twice. And what does this mean? Line 11555, line label 3, also called a clapper. That's okay. We're gonna save it. We're gonna reload it. Damn it. Okay. Label lecture 3 slate. Yeah, I'm sorry here. This was See, I should have every one of these lines I should have said this and replace. See, 2 2. Well, I was like, okay. We're gonna okay, I can figure out how to do this a little bit easier. We're still gonna compare it right now. Well, I was like, hey Naka, can you stand over there for the music a bit? And I turned it there. Let's see. We're gonna make it Inaka. I turned it in and I called it a day. Happy. Let's say all of this, copy, paste, gets replaced with replace all. Then I called it a day. Okay. Okay, so we can do it that way. But as soon as it goes to the actual Slate lecture, then I can do a huge copy and paste. Well, let's see how many of these we can find. Because this is first one reviewed. Okay. About 30 seconds. So we're gonna... Well, I was like, there. Okay. Copy. Paste. Find. There. Okay. And I call it a day. Just one take? What's a take? You know, let's say, you know those things that they clap together before, so you know those things they clap together, that they clap, things that they clap to, you know those things that they clap? You know those things they clap? Glad I did this again. You know those things that they clap. What was that noise? What's a take? Let's... Four. Just one take. You know those things they clap together really loud before someone says action. You know those things. You know those things. You know those things. You know those things. You know those things that people yell and then clap. And then clap the top. And say... God, that sentence is just word. You know those things that people hold... You know those things people hold and snap down while they yell out words. They snap down and then yell out things like take two. Okay, so this, all of this right here, it's going to be replaced. And then we're going to see, because I don't think, yeah, I knew at the start that Yeah. Oh, I bet I know it's... there. People hold there. Get rid of that. Good. Okay. Just one take. Usually I don't have to do... That was a lapse-minded mistake. And usually it won't be this intense of a change. Okay. Not a clue. Might as well explain. Okay, lecture 3. Complete. Okay. So we're going to take all of lecture 3 until it says stop music. All right. And we're going to copy that. We're going to say that's the replacer. And then Aggie 1. We're going to find maybe find is this what this one is? Yeah, these are the same ones. Okay, we're gonna take all of this. We're gonna take all of that. We're gonna put it. This is probably gonna be one of the most. It's not difficult now. It's almost difficult. But this is what happens when you do things kind of disorganized like. So let's see. Copy. Paste. 8 found. Lecture 3 complete. Alright, so that means with this shows vital information, yes. Show background chalkboard. So we're gonna get rid of all of this until it says stop music. Okay. We're gonna get rid of all of that. And we're gonna just put all of this in it. It looks like... Okay, looks like it did it. Looks like it did it, guys. So we need to make sure... Let's see if this is multiple times. Okay, 1 found. Let's see. Copy. Paste. So the date, let's say right here. And there's 4 found. Okay, that's good. So Alright, for some reason I can tell. See, I labeled the lectures different for each one. This is kind of a embarrassing spaghetti code kind of situation. Let's see what the last line is on here. You got about 7 seconds. Okay. So this right here is going to be deleted. And then it's going to be, this is going to be put in. Okay. Let's see. Set. Because I have complete. So let's see here. I have complete there. I have complete there. I have complete there. I don't have complete here. Let's see. You have about 7 seconds. Things like that. Okay. And get rid of that. I hate, it scares me getting rid of that huge big chunk of stuff. Okay. And then that. So we have complete. We have complete. We have complete. We have complete. Okay. We got all of the slates finished. That was quite abstract. Yes. Okay. Now let's see if this is said 4 times. Probably. Yes. Alright, so for these next chunks, every time we see a change, we gotta replace them all on the other side. Okay. Now let's save it. Please don't say, please just, please work, please work, please work. Please work. Yes. Yes. Okay. You've been here watching that. My God. I think it's time for. That was a sweat inducer.
I'll need a pinch runner.
What's that, kid?
I still need a pinch runner.
Speak up, please.
Okay. It was quite abstract. Yes, and the music was from a game called Off, which it was. He gave permission to his viewers on a video online to use it. On a video or in a video? Thank God it's Friday. Wait, today's Thursday. Oh yeah, aren't you super in the future? He gave permission to his viewers on a video online to use it. Did you get a release form from your friend? Just in case he... Oh. Just in case she doesn't sue you for using her image if you sell this. If you sell this, put in film festival or anything else. I did not. Just make sure to have your actor sign a release form for being in a film. Being in a film next time. So, because these are done 4 times over. For being in a film next time. And sorry that it's not Resident Evil 4. I just really want to get this done, and I really want to get to the nice parts. There are release templates online that you can print off and use. Sounds super. All right. I think that section is done. All right, so let's see. There it is. All right. All right, we are back. Yeah, oops. Oh my gosh. How long have I been doing that without there being something? I know there was. Now you... Thank you. Thank you. Gosh, that would be a mess. Okay. Something wrong. Dot, dot, dot. You got the plague? Is that plague or plaque? No, no, no. It wasn't. I know I had it on at the beginning. Getting. The plague. P-L-A-G-U-E. Thank goodness for this find and replace. I would... Let's actually see if there's only one version of it, then we're good. 2 found. P-L-A-G-U-E. All right. The plaque. The plague. I got it to work. Remember, I get it. I type it in, but it doesn't go in here until I save it. Ooh, bloody diarrhea. Oh, shut up. So you have the plague. There we go. With bloody diarrhea, which we've all dealt with, I think, at one time or another. Tough break. See you guys later. Maybe... Now, if this officially just has 1, then we're in the clear. Yes. Alright, we're in the clear of there not being 4 rounds of something. Okay, feel better. Dot, dot, dot. See you guys later. Okay. Feel better. Bye. Yeah, I'll see you soon. Good luck with all of your issues you'll be having tonight in the bathroom. Goodness. I did see some Plague Doctor cosplay, actually. Okay, so it first help, so there's 2 different ones. So if nagging was picked. Alright, because I picked Okimi. So right here, we have to just read this on the side. So Tatsuo, yes. Did you bring anything? No, not yet. I had some ideas, but didn't want to rush anything. Come on, Tatsuo. You're the... Let's see, if this is 2... Yes. Okay. You gotta lead by example. In a way, I agree with Nagi. I don't want to rush something to just get it done. A famous video game maker once said, a delayed game is eventually good, a bad game is bad forever. Wonder who said that. Da, 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 da. Makes sense, but this project was almost meant to be just a warm-up. Wasn't meant to be anything huge or polished. There should be it at the beginning, but I'll take it out since it's just dialogue. Sometimes that first step of just getting a camera in your hands and pushing the record button can be difficult. Oh, I did make something, but threw it out. I was kind of embarrassed by it. What was it? Reading poetry and crying? No, nothing deep. Either way, it's lost in the ones and zeros of my digital hard drive. I think I could keep digital in there. That I know the other side isn't moving yet. That's a shame. Promise not to delete the next thing you make. No promises, Okami, but I'll at least try. Yeah, don't be stupid like that and delete your stuff. Stop calling me stupid, Yuri. In a joking way, sorry. The only one we can mess with is Nagi and no one else. She always bounces back from poking fun at her. It's a special talent she has. It's a talent I really wish I wasn't given. How about we just try to be nice to everyone, okay? Let's do... I'm not going to replace all of them. Hold on, let's... If this just says 2, then that's a good thing. Oh, it's just 1? Alright, and then... This is line 15194. 15194. We're gonna look and find all the OKs and change them with OK. Actually, I'm gonna see if okay. Actually, this kind of shows some future. Let's actually. It's okay. Okay, I'm out. Because I don't want to have. I don't want to make it capitalized if it's in the middle of a sentence. I know it's off for right now because I don't want, because these OKs can be in later in the stream. You know what I mean? And everybody, how we doing? Are we getting ready for Halloween, even though we may not celebrate it? But if you do, I have a bone, quote unquote, to pick with you, and not with you, but the world in general right now, is that, you know how there's, hold on, 15194. 151 15194. There we go. All right, we're back. So, just a second here. So trick-or-treating, Moon Ghost or that, if anyone out there has not done it, or it's not your country, You basically dress up as something like the Plague Doctor or Princess or something, and you go door to door trick or treating. So you go door to door, you knock on a door, the door opens up, you say trick or treat, you know, and that means even though no one does the tricks, usually trick or treat means that you're either going to give them a trick or you're going to give them a treat instead. So they usually give you candy, you say thank you, you go down and you go to the next house, okay? And a lot of people are usually doing this at the same time, so you see people on the block walking, one direction. You can see from across the street on the other side of the houses. It's exciting going down a big block because you don't know, some people have their lights off and don't want to deal with trick-or-treating. You can see a big scary house coming up soon and you're like, oh, these next houses that have candy, but then there's going to be this big scary house, and sometimes you get really bad candy, but it's been most of the time been good. Or if you're allergic to stuff like me, it's this constant weird trading of candy with others. But now they have this bullshit, and I'll say it, I swear it, called Trunk or Treat. And this is because we're scared about our children eating candy with pins stuck in them. Or it's because of COVID and we don't want to go block to block. People park their cars in a parking lot with the trunks open, and you go in this little stupid circle and you're saying trick or treat, and you get candy from all of these trucks, but like, it's not a house. You don't walk up to this potentially scary looking house that's got weird stuff on it. Sometimes it's a big mansion house, sometimes it's a smaller house. You go to these 10 cars and then you stop. It's so gets me upset on how some like 8-year-olds in that are missing out. And if you don't know, if you aren't part of trick-or-treating, basically the highest age you go is like the 8th grade, and if you go any higher it's kind of weird, or you can go as a parent. But for them not to get like the little rush of going house to house, but instead they have to be in this bubble, really bothers me. Like, I wasn't like my parents where I wasn't able to be in a car with smoke and like all this dangerous stuff that our parents seem to be able to do, and they survived. And from there, they're making everything safe for everybody, so we don't get any hair on our chest, so to speak. We don't get bruised up or beat up by the world. And I really think you need that. So that's my 2 cents. I'm sorry. It's just, it is what it is. I had to say it. I had to get it off my chest. Okay? I had to. Now, I'm done. Okay. So did you bring anything? One 5194. Just buy Uru, feel better. Wait. I'll see you guys later. Guys, later. Let's save it just in case. No, nothing deep. This should just be... Yeah, this should be just one found. Okay. One thing, so... Dot, dot, dot. I'll see you guys. I'll see you later, guys. That's one found. Okay. We're back. I know we feel better. Bye, Ruru. Yeah, I'll see you soon. We did this. Dealing with all the issues. So Tatsuo, yes, did you bring anything? Not yet. I have some ideas. Come on, Tatsuo. You gotta lead by example. In a way, I gotta agree with you, Nagi. I don't want to rush something to get it done. This video game one says delayed game is eventually good. Bad game is makes sense. But this project... Okay. I don't want to lead... Delay game, but... Oh yeah, okay. Because this is if I picked Nagi first. Okay. That makes sense, but this project was almost meant as a warm-up. Wasn't meant to be anything huge or polished. Sometimes the first step's just getting a camera, so I'm reading the Nagi version first. I did make something, but threw it out. Kind of embarrassed about it. What is it? Reading poetry and crying. No, nothing deep. We wrote this. Not a shame. Promise not to delete it next time. Okay, I promise, but at least try. Yeah, don't be stupid and delete your stuff. You call me stupid. Jokingly sorry. We read this. Bounce always bounce back. So that special talent. Talents really wish it wasn't given. How about you try and be nice to everyone? Okay, right there. Okay, that was the spot. If you don't have anything nice to say to the person, don't say anything at all. We always can still critique each other's films and ideas. Are you alright, Nagi? I see what you're doing. Ha ha ha. She's ignoring you, Yuri, because she's got nothing nice to say to you. Oh. Because she's got nothing nice to say. And we're still a pretty nice club, remember? We are still a nice club, remember? And a pretty small one, so we can't get too mean at each other for things. So, Uru, try to talk more, I guess. Not sure how to word that. No, that was good enough, Tatsuo. Hey, who wants to hear the next VHS tape? Oh, Kimmy, it was picked. Tatsuo, yes, did you bring anything? Not yet. If anything, bring it as soon as you can. There we go. Delayed. Well. But you're right. Let's see. Not taking my own advice. Okay, now... If Okimi was picked. I'm not taking my own advice. Let's see here. I'm not taking my own advice on this, but part of the reason I started this club is to try to get pressure from others and try and get pressure from others. Not in a negative bullying way. Trying to get pressure from others to make films. To make films. Okay. Not a negative bully. Bullies are bad news. Actually, I think everyone needs to be bullied a little bit so they know the joy about not being bullied. That is true. I guess that makes sense. I get it enough looking like I get it enough looking like I'm 11. But being a community college is strangely like a high school that makes sure people understand my situation. College age. ... Who are you talking to? Hey, who wants to hear the next VHS tape? Alright. I promise we're gonna bash through this. I promise. We're still at that part that's the educational part. That's the part we're trying to get through. So, Hello everyone, Rose here. Oh wait, who are you talking to? Who wants to hear your next VHS tape? We're gonna try to go through this fast. Because I want to get to the good parts. Hello everyone, Rose here. We're finally gonna get to about the camera mechanisms themselves. Yeah, get pumped. Lesson 4. We're gonna do that dash mark. Part 1 of 2, DSLR versus mirrorless. You will most likely be able to get your hands on a DSLR camera, mirrorless camera, or the phone, or the camera on your phone, or the camera, on your phone, or the camera on your phone, or the camera on your phone. You will most likely be able to reach your phone on your camera. There are also cameras called cinema cameras, but those are mostly for Hollywood multi-million-dollar budget films only. So let's focus on the DSLR mirrorless cameras right now. DSLR stands for digital single lens reflex. I'm doing this fast just because it's boring potentially for some of you. Okay. DSLR works by a camera having a mirror inside that bounces light when it comes through the lens and optical view finder. Viewfinder is the thing in the back of the camera that you stick your eye in and the camera sees. Mirrorless camera, of course, does not have a mirror, so it relies on a digital viewfinder and using an LCD display on the back. Another major difference is caused by the lack of mirror is autofocusing system. Autofocusing is basically letting the camera decide what to make clear and crisp in the image. This is also known as an over-the-shoulder shot, which is popular. Hold on. This is, as you can see in this example, the closer feline girl is in focus, while the feline girl farther away is not in focus. This example shot is also known as an over-the-shoulder shot. All of the static and movement shot. It's also known as over-the-shoulder shot. Anything in any shot can be the focus. So let's see. Sorry, I'm typing it here. So the feline in the back can be the one in focus, while the one closer can be out of focus if the director DRECT wants it. Usually the person in focus is the one the director wants the audience to focus on, and or is the character that is talking. That is talking. And I'm getting rid of which is very popular. Okay, DSLRs have a sensor in the image coming into the camera and passes separate sensors. Just for the autofocusing system, use the light passes through the translucent section of the mirror itself. Mirrorless on the other hand has one sensor and both autofocus image capturing. Does both autofocus and image capturing. I'm reading this fast here. But let's get into the sweet good stuff of setting up those settings. We're talking about our lesson 4, part 2 of 2. Shutter speed, ISO, and aperture. This can be three main things to think about when setting up your camera. They have nothing to do with framing of your shot, but the exposure. Exposure being basically how much light hits the sensor of the camera and for how long. Each one, shutter speed, aperture, and ISO, brings something different to the table, both pro and con, and your goal is to find the perfect combination. No more auto on this. This is real now. Alright. Let's talk about frame rate before. Let's see, shutter speed. Hold on, this was the one. Okay. Shutter speed, IS, change all. Let's see how much times shutter speed. Is frame rate 1 or 2? Okay, frame rate. Hold on. Okay. Frame rate versus. Okay. Okay. Let's talk about frame rate. Frame rate. All right. I know we're gonna get to the stuff soon. Frame rate is how many frames are taken by the camera per second. 24 frames per second simply means 24 frames were shot in the course of 1 second. Images were captured in the course of 1 second. So 60 frames per second means 60 frames are taken per second. Film industry has made it about 24 frames per second as giving the cinematic look. It's actually rounded up from a number of 23.765, but it's a bit easier just to say 24. The reasoning was a combination of the film rate made it feel lifelike while using the least amount of frames because the frames cost money to save money. If you remember, back then they used physical film, which cost money and was not able to redo as compared to digital recording. So then I ask you, so why would you change the frame rate? The biggest thing is to record in the biggest thing is to record in slow motion. Okay. More frames mean more information to work with. So this is a graph of with the industry of 24 frames per second on top. Now there's one with 240 frames per second on the bottom. You see the little dashes. Oh my goodness. All right. These both take place during 1 second, but 10 times the amount of frames were recorded on the bottom compared to the 24 frames per chart on the top. This means that you can chop up these 240 frames into 24 frames per second and stretch it out into 10 full seconds. I know that's confusing here. I think this means you can chop up these 240 frames into 24 frames per second sections and stretch them out into 10 full seconds. These 10 seconds have had the same 1 second action appear before them, but it's only going to stretch them out to 10 full seconds. These 10 seconds still have the same 1 second action, live action, that appeared before them, that they recorded. So it's still going to display that same action. But with a lot more frames, you can stretch that out, thus slowing down the video. This is for various reasons of story. Also known as slow motion. These can be done for various reasons for the story. It's all preference. So let's keep it at 24 frames per second per mile and more on the shutter speed. Out of 24 frames per second, shutter speed is how much light each frame is exposed to. So shutter at 1/25th means the frame is exposed for 1/250th of a second. The longer the shutter speed is open, the brighter the image will be. But the shutter speed also controls the amount of motion blur that there is to an image. Also affects the amount. Sorry that I'm yelling. Affects the amount of motion blur there is to an image / film. Faster the shutter speed, the top one, the less motion blur there'll be. Compared will be on the image, comma, or let's just change into compared to the slower shutter speed on the bottom. Faster shutter speed on top has less motion blur. Slower shutter speed on the bottom one. Since a faster shutter speed means that there will be less light for each frame. Since faster shutter speed means there'll be less light for each frame, you can, as we will get to, change some settings of the camera to artificially to increase exposure, to increase the lightness of the brightness of the image of the frame. You can, as we will get to, you can change some of the settings of the camera to increase the brightness of the frame. I hope people out there are learning a little bit at least. But this can cause more noise and grain in your final shot. Noise, including artificially brightening your image in camera. Using but this can cause more noise and grain to appear in your final shot. Noise being little specks and sprinkles in the image. The more noise, little specks, more noise, the more specks. Some may be going for this look, but the best thing is trying to keep a clear picture as you can. Get as clear a picture as you can and then edit in the noise using editing software later. So let's go to something that will help control exposure. I know, it's informational. I know it's learning. What's a good shutter speed to start with? What's a good shutter speed to start with? You may or may not ask. 24 frames per second should be around 1/40th the shutter speed. Should be, so the shutter speed to start with, Mayor. Before we should set the shutter speed around 1/48 or 1/50th if your camera does not have that option. Let's do that. Let's do that in a second. Or, oh, where's the O? How are you guys doing out there? Heyo!
Broken bat single.
I'll need a pinch runner.
What's that, kid?
Here's why. It's called the 180-degree shutter rule. Degree parts do it. The original film camera components. The overall concept is that you should have the shutter half of what the frame rate is. But you can adjust the shutter to find the kind of crisp blur that you want in your shot. Right now, they'll start the shutter at 1/48th and keep it there. Learn the concepts and then you can break the rules. Just getting that camera knowledge. That's one of the things that I feel like I have a hard time describing the actual reasonings of shutter speed versus frame rate. But basically frame rate is how many frames are shot in a second, and shutter speed is how much light per frame is exposed for each shot. Okay. There we go. Here's a quick graph help you shooting at 8 frames per second, even though you don't want to. The more blue per frame, the more brighter and more motion blur that frame will have. The brighter and more motion blur that frame will have. Is that right? Yeah, that's right. Even though you don't want to. Okay, I forgot I have to click this as I'm reading it. More brighter, more motion blur. Let's talk about the last thing, the camera controls. Our favorite. This isn't, we didn't talk about the ISO. Hold on. Yeah. Let's talk about the next major setting. It's our favorite guess, aperture. I don't know why I say favorite guess, but we're just gonna. Aperture is how open or close the iris of the lens is. This iris is the lens itself and not the camera body. Is in the lens itself and not in the camera body. So there may be more or less stops depending on. So these irises may be different depending on what lens you use. The amount of, let me see. The amount the iris of the lens is open. The amount the iris is open. I don't need to say of the lens. Is open is measured by something called f-stops. The lower the f-stop number, the more the iris is open. So as we can see, if we look through my fantastic animation, when it's big, and that's like Aperture Science, like that Portal game, that's the logo. So the first one here is 2.8, and that's when it's open the most. And so there's much more f-stops than that, but those were just two examples. There's a mathematical formula of this weird numbering of these f-stops, so just remember each stop number appears next to f. Doubles or halves the amount of light that is allowed to go into the camera. I think doubles or halves the amount of light that is allowed to go in the camera from the next f-stop over or under. I don't know. I'll deal with it. Thus, the more light is allowed to enter no matter what the shutter speed is. Now, let's get rid of that sentence. That sentence, I don't want it. The reason for the aperture is not only control light, but also depth of field, which you'll save for a later tape. Aww. When we talk solely on lenses. Last thing is ISO, which basically camera sensitivity to light. The bigger the number, the brighter your image will be. You usually want this to be your last resort for brightening up the image, because the higher the ISO, the more noise or spec, the more noise will appear. Noise meaning your film will have more of a grainy texture. The more noise, grainy texture will be. You usually want your ISO to be as low as possible to get the least amount of grain, but there are still situations where you can avoid this. You usually want to set your ISO to a low number. I don't want to say lower because sometimes yeah. Like low lights and night shots. Like areas ARE with low light and night shots. This should be enough to start taking over your this should be enough to start taking control. This should be enough to start with. This should be enough to start with for your control of light. This should be enough to start with your This should be enough to... This should be enough to start with for now. This should be enough to start with for now. This should be enough. This should be enough information with your settings to start with. This should be enough information for you let's just take that. Sometimes I just want the sentence gone. But we will have to get to what the lens controls. Okay. Let's just get rid of my name is Rose, and I'll see you in the next section. Yeah, we're gonna... Bye. That lecture is done. ... So how do we want to end our meetings? I could sing a song I wrote for my poetry class. How about we just end on a high note and call it for today? We can support each other and bring in the films we made next time. Lovely. Pressure without pressure. Sounds good. See you guys. Goodbye, everyone. I kind of use that with you guys too. Like literally doing this is kind of pressure without pressure because I have to edit this because I'm live and a few of you are watching. And for me, that actually helps with pressure. I look forward to what joys this club will bring me. Hey, great work today, Yuri. I think this club is going to be really special for me. Just meeting you has been a special experience. Let's get rid of for me twice. Has it just been as special for you as well? Hold on. Meeting you, has it been just as special for you as well? Special? Maybe wording a little better. Here we go. I guess you can word it like that. Oh my. I think I get what you're saying. We'll take it slow. Wait, I think you misunderstood. Bye, Yuri. Starting to second guess myself joining this. Grumble. Looks like Okimi is disettered. His editor test drawing. Okimi. I'm just really struggling with this drawing stuff. It's not going to come in a few days. You have to practice a bit more, Okimi. I know. It's just that I want to make a really good logo for the festival. You don't think it will look great with just text? I'd rather see some kind of art go with it. Even something as simple as a camera with our school's name on it. Like, see? I can't even draw a circle. But, like... Can't even draw a circle. What part of the arm are you using to draw? What do you mean, the hand? Do you use the elbow or shoulder at all? I tend to use the elbow on my desk. I use mostly my wrist to draw. Uh-oh, that's part of the problem. I'm not the best at drawing, but I know it's better to practice to draw with your shoulders than your wrist. Here, give me your hand. this won't be. Look at that. See, you miss the art of her assets below the text. What a bummer. Try to keep your wrists and elbows still. Proceed to draw a circle with it. It's awkward. It's awkward and try to guide her hand like to guide to awkward to try. It's awkward to guide her hand like this. Wasn't the best circle out there, but it's pretty good. Better than the other stuff I've crumpled up and stuffed in my backpack. I'll keep working on it. I'll work on some online stuff too. I'll look at some online stuff too. The internet always has the answers. The internet can't hold your hand and help you draw, though. I guess you're right with that. In that case, I may need a few more lessons in the future, or have you critique my stuff. There are actually some communities online that'll do that as well. I used one once. It was very informative, but they don't hold back on their opinions. That's good. I'd rather someone tell me that they think I'm ugly than lie to me about it. What are you talking about? You're not ugly. Oh, sweet Yuri. Have a good night, Yuri. I start to leave and I see something on the ground. It reads, Animation Project, Disc 1 of 2. This looks like Uru's by the handwriting. I put it in some tissues and put some hand sanitizer on. I'm not a germaphobe, but I can't say I enjoyed germs' company. I'm gonna take it. Poof. That's gross. I took that out. That is gone. Okay. New day. Hey, Ruru. You feeling better? Let's see here. Do I want to add music or no? Let's see. 160 music? Question mark. Okay. Hold on, I'm turning around. Okay. Feel any better? Not the least. Feel terrible. Let's just say not the least. No way, Uru. How can I help? Please let me sleep. Please let me just sleep. Can I come back and check up on you? Okay. Can I come check up on you? I'll come and check up on you tonight. Here, I'm going to get rid of that. I'm just going to say, I'll come and check up on you tonight. For the love of God, just leave me alone. Ururu is such a downer. Is that a lot louder than the... Okay, let's... Alarm. Clock. Revised. .mp3 may be a bit loud. Okay. Since when has there been a rooster around these parts? Oh, effects of a rooster, maybe. I'm gonna say, can't remember let me see, I'm trying to write a random. Can't remember if I had any homework I don't know why I talk to myself each day I wake up. Maybe because I'm getting myself ready for the day. Do other people do this? I feel if I go online and ask, I won't get good results. You may not. Well, hold on. Okay. I have more tabs open. I just don't want... I keep checking. My name's on there. So. I'll pretend that it means I'm a genius or something. I had to ask Tatsu about Ururu today. I haven't looked at the floppy disk she left. I haven't looked at her floppy disk she left yet. I want to, but I don't think it's fair to Ururu without asking. Whatever. I think I'll go and not talk to myself anymore. Here, I'm going to take away the other. And maybe use the diary. Yeah, definitely. Definitely that alarm clock is too loud. Okay. Yes, I'm early for once. Now here, these are the only type of characters that I purchased as assets. So you'll see. Yo, what you doing right now? You Yuri, right? Yeah. Oh my gosh. You have to come with me. Wait, who are you? Just come on. We have to do it in private so no one can hear me. Maybe lowering your voice will do the trick. Come on, before class starts. She grabs my arm in a vice-like grip as I run off somewhere. Vice-like grip. I'm gonna just end it there. This might be the way I die. So you know Nagi? Yeah. Yeah, so she's my best friend. I absolutely hate films, so I didn't join. Sorry to hear. How you feel about Nagi? How do I feel? Do you have any sort of feelings for her, or are you friend-zoning her? Oh, man. Oh, man. Because she's super crushed on you and she doesn't know what to do. Don't tell her I talked with you, but basically I'm giving you an all clear if you want to go for it. Please try, Yuri. I don't know what to think. Think it over at least. Sure, don't tell her, but I'll think it over. Here, I'm going to change that to 2. Sure. I'll think it over. I think that's better. Great. So let her know that you found me and talked to you. So I'll tell her that you found me to talk to because you were nervous to talk to. You were nervous to talk to her directly. It's a little wordy, but whatever. No. I didn't say that. Don't do anything like that. She even got me yelling now. I don't really know you. Quick, where's the track field? Right here. Thank you for helping me. See, now I have a reason for meeting you, for information. She's being tricky. What you're doing is not good, you know that. This could really mess up the club's dynamics. Bye. If she tells you she wants to meet me somewhere, you know what to do. That was... Let's see, sound. what's good is that I can look at the desktop audio because I'm gonna mix the audio a little bit after. I'm not gonna do it during this. I'm gonna mix it after, and the sound mixer shows me how audio mixers how loud it is, so I can kind of mess with how loud the sound effects are to bring it to the same level. Okay, damn it. Gonna be late on top of all this mess. Mean teacher. Everyone stay for the bio test? Shoot! Make sure you keep, let's see. Make sure you keep studying for it before it comes up. Wow, dodge bold on that one. Tonight. Tonight will be the study night. Let's see. I'm gonna write. Change. Text. Name. Color. On. Mean. Teacher. If I remember. Hey, glad I caught you. So I asked you to talk a bit more quiet? Sure. Just give you a heads up that I may have told Nagy about how you feel about her today. What? I didn't even say anything. I could see it in your eyes. Oh my god, why are you doing this? I'm her best friend and I have to help her in any way I can. Her best friend, comma. I have to help her any way I can. We don't need a comma. What if I completely tell her that I'm not interested? That'd be kind of mean. Hey, Yon John. Hey, Yuri. So their sizes are a little bit off, but that's how I kind of liked it because she kind of didn't fit in with this whole situation. Nagy, I haven't seen you all day. I see you met my friend Yo-Yo. That's her name? Yon-John Foley. Yo-Yo is better. Goodness, she's yelling again. I have to leave now, but have fun at the club, Yagi. Thanks, Yo-Yo. What a cool nickname. Let's get in there before they start. Animate positions in detail, potentially. Alright, I don't know. I wrote that there, but I might not. Hey, guys. How did your filming go, Nagy? It was pretty good, Yuri. Nagy, I was the one whom asked you. Oh, yeah, see, I'm bringing off the side. Who uses whom? Like, ever? I do. Well, stop it. Why are you all snappy, Nagy? Do you need a big old Ukimi Huggums? Oh my god. No, please. Don't want to suffocate. Sorry, a bit late. So how was all the filming? I think I got some good stuff now. So, I'm going to let you guys know now. Bois am seep.
Broken bat single.
I'll need a pinch runner.
What's
I think I got some good stuff that Yuri's really going to like.
please.
Jeez, I also have one on both of you, and Yuri will maybe like. I also have one that both you and Yuri will possibly like. I'm going to make sure Yuri... I'm going to make Yuri the judge of that then. So let's jump right into it. Alright, films. Who's going to go first? Let's go with Okimi. I hid the last part so you didn't see my hand. All right. Okay. What do you think? Sorry, I should have let you see the very end of that, but it was my hand. So if you play through this whole thing again, you can see what color my hand is, which you can probably guess. What do you think? Where did you get the idea for that? Honestly, I was just going through the things that were on sale at the store near my house. And a huge case of honey was there. And it looked like it expired, was kind of beat up, so no one wanted it, I guess. I thought honey never goes bad. It does. I don't think it does. I don't remember some kind of story on finding honey on Egyptian tombs that was still edible. I feel the only way they could figure that out was to eat it. Gross. I think this was more corn syrup than honey, which it was. It was fake honey, which is gross. I bought it and then tried to see if I could make a short film using it. The music fit really well. The colors, the colors were. Now, when I did that, like, half bowl honey thing, I think that would be a cool lamp to have. If somehow you could have it flow, like the water drips down and then it gets sucked back up from the plate and goes back up and then falls down again like a continuous, like, weird waterfall. You can take that idea if you want. I would want that. Was that on purpose? No, I underexposed it. Do you try bringing up the highlights on an editing program? Don't believe we talked about it. Do not think we talked about it, but you're able to do things like that. Things like that. I did try to use some free software online. I try to use some software online. But I really... Let's see. But really couldn't figure it out. Dash dot dot. Okay, don't sweat it. You got another project done. You should be proud. Thanks, Yuri. I'm glad you like it. Okay, let's see. Let's see what did I... Sorry. I think it was more correct. It fits really well. Colors, let's see. Because I forgot that there's going to be 2 of these. So every time I change something, I got to remember I got to put it in here. Oh. There's only one found? Let's see, if I do this, if there's just one, then we're in the clear. 2. Let's see. Two found. Okay, we changed all that. Is that on purpose? No, I underexposed it. You try and bring it. I don't think we talked about it. Let's see here, because I forgot that this is happening twice. Shoot. A little dark and muted. Let's make sure this happens twice. Copy. Paste to, yep, don't underexpose it. I don't believe we talked about it. Copy. Paste. There should be 2 of these. How about don't believe? Don't believe we talked about it, but you're able to. Don't believe we talked about it, but you're able to do that. You don't believe me, do you? Oh, okay. But you're able to do that. I guess I did try some free software, but it made it really grainy. Some free software online. I have to remember the lines that I changed. I promise that I'll have a more normal system. Let's make sure, is this the same? Did try some free software online, but couldn't really figure it out. Copy. Okay. Don't sweat it. Make another project done. You should be proud. Glad you like it. Make sure to save it on your computer as well. Also, certain emails will give you free small amount of storage when you sign up. You can use that to put a few of your shorts as extra backup. Sounds like a plan. Okay, so since that is set, so... Oh, I forgot that we have to... Sounds like a plan. Okay, Nagy's. I don't even remember what this one is. Well, that was short. Oh, is it that bad? Let's see where it is. Oh, is it? Okay, so we're gonna say this, and we're gonna change it. Is it that bad? Replace all. I had another idea using bread as weapons, but my friends weren't able to do it this week. Yeah, that was the shortest one. The ones towards the end are a little bit longer. I was mostly looking around the city. Location scouting then. Yes. What you said. I wanted to kind of do interviewing some people on the streets, but some people are kind of rude. I couldn't figure out how to exactly do audio. I wish I had a microphone or something. One of Tasto's VHS's probably covers it. But almost all phones or slightly higher end cameras have a built-in mic. So you decided to look at some walls then. I was just filming as much color around the city that I decided to go with that. I tend not to be calm, so it was a new adventure for me to dive into that part of my head. Stepping out of your comfort zone can bring you to wonderful things. Comfort zones are hard to break, I know. Indeed. Yes, quite. I concur. As do I. Indeed. I've already said indeed. And I think that means you lost. Shoot, I didn't pick up on that at time. Okay. And Kimmy, so let's go through Kimmy film done. Soju, let me see here. I'm curious. Oh shoot! I haven't been able to see it this time. Oh, I'm sorry. It was just a bunch of colors. I know. You didn't miss out on anything. It was actually someone gave me permission to use their short film on that. A lot of this I made, and I try to somehow have it a little bit be college-esque, but... Okay. So did you make anything for us this time, Tatsuo? I have to be honest and say I didn't have time. We haven't gotten to see anything you've made. I know, I'm sorry for it. It's okay. What else do you think, aside from time, that is causing this? I think perfection plays a part in this. Perfectionism. Ooh, That word can burn the skin on how evil it is. You'll make a lot of mistakes at the beginning. I'm talking to myself here, but I think it's like you're digging for treasure. And the sand are mistakes. Are mistakes and bad ideas. And the sand are keep digging though, and you will be sure to find a treasure. A treasure? Treasure? You'll be sure to find a treasure. Some people just stare at the beach and ideas and think it's too hard to go find something. Look at me. Oh no, look at me. That's a good analogy. My parents said I was a mistake, but I make sure to show them that I'm not. But I make sure to show them that I am not most of the time. I didn't know your parents thought of you like this, Nagy. Don't worry, they don't. One's dead anyway, so it only means I have to impress half. Nice. Man, Nagy. Dark much? Speaking of dark, does anyone know where Ruru's going? So I called her this morning and she wasn't sounding her best, but I'm going to go over there tonight and give her homework she missed. She's going to love me for that. I thought I would come too. Same here. I think all of us want to go and see her. Have faith in me, guys. I don't want her to be overwhelmed. She may not like having a bunch of people looking down at her, watching her make her feel better. Yeah, I know. Alright. She actually doesn't sound bad. I don't mind sick pity every now and then. Mostly when I'm sick. You said tonight. I won't be able to go. Can we plan on something tomorrow for all of us? I think I should get out there that way myself. As Club Co-President, I want to be there for her. Even if I'm all by myself. There's still 2 other people that can come, you know. Nah. We'll all go together as a group then, okay? Oh, okay. Oh. Well, let's talk about the festival. So far, we've been only able to use our phones for these. Only able to use our phone for these films. Only able to use our... Let's talk about the festival. Let's get rid of that in case I didn't say that. I don't think I said one of them used a camera, but we're just... Would be nice to get some funding for equipment. We could just need... we could just do equipment rentals, you know. There's a camera store nearby, and I know it'll let us rent us some of their stuff for a sponsor spot. Great! But I know with fancier equipment like that... But I know with fancier equipment like that... I hate when I have a sentence that does that twice. I know fancier equipment like that. The only one who cares, okay, we don't worry about that. I have no idea what that is, but I'm just going to keep it. You be thinking how I talk well is? No, but you are Nagy. Set the bar low is what I'm after. So I can watch the next VHS. That sounds great. Taking all the notes will help too. I know you got a paper near you, so you're always drawing on, okay, me. Can you rip a piece of that paper for my potential notes? Nice rip. What's the worst thing to do in a funeral? Get propose. Doesn't have a clean rip. Here you go. Sweet. Now if I can only get a pen. Oof, you're something else. I did not remember on this being this long.
Broken bat single.
I'll need a bench runner.
Welcome, future filmmakers. I'm Rose, and welcome to the 4th lecture of the Basic Series Cam. I'm going to try to go through this fast, because I want us to get to the other parts. Camera lenses. They are almost, if not more, as important as the camera body themselves. There's a saying that you date your cameras, but marry your lenses. When you start, you should only be using a few, if not just one lens. I can't emphasize this enough, but the equipment does not make the filmmaker. You can buy movie quality equipment, but still make a terrible film. And I know you've seen movies with huge budget and fancy cameras, but forget most of the movie by the time you got to the parking lot. Skit. I mean, that is true. You see movies sometimes that look good, but then you completely forget about them. I will be honest and say, of course, it helps, but it does not make or break a film. Think of a lens along with the camera body as a musical instrument, easy to pick up and start making noise, but challenging enough you have to learn to take control of the instruments. True potential. I think because the instrument owns it. You don't really need to know all the inner workings of an instrument. Anyone can grab a camera and fiddle with the lens. But it doesn't hurt to know how the equipment works. There are many different types of camera lenses, and they are each built for a different reason. I gotta make sure. Is today Thursday? Yeah, today's Thursday. Alright. Each built for a different reason. Lenses can be looked at as a tube of glass that bends light to an image sensor in the camera body. Lenses come in various sizes, and they are measured by their focal lengths. Focal length is the distance between the optical center, the most center part of the lens, and the image sensor of the camera. Look at the diagram. Look at it. I get the deceased thing. Look at it. It is measured by mm's, and they can basically be put millimeters. Millimeters. Do I need an apostrophe S measured in mm's? Okay. A bunch of sticky notes I do. Alright. And basically put into three major groups. Wide angle lens with smaller focal length number, telephoto lens with a larger focal length number, and a standard lens with somewhere in between that is supposed to be or to mimic our own eyes angle of view, our eyes view of the world. Our eyes angle of view of the world. Is in between one word? Like with a little thing? In between, always two words. I don't know if there's that weird little dash in between. You can figure out the focal length by the lens by looking at the number on the side with the mm next to the lens. Some only have one number, meaning a prime lens, like a 35mm prime lens, while a zoom lens that has a range of focal lengths between two lists on a certain camera, while some may have two numbers. Let's get Let's get rid of that line. That line's meaning a zoom lens, like 18 to 118 millimeters to 110 millimeters. Standard lens and one that mimics how the eye see the world is between 35 millimeter lens to between 35 to between I'm just gonna say anything shorter focal length is with a shorter focal length is considered wide angle, while anything longer is telephoto. Two of the most important things to get out of. God, I need water. How is it almost 10:30 again? How is this game taking so long? Do you mind if we continue this on Friday, guys? And because I have, what do I have? I promise. Well, what I might, well, I don't know your guys' streaming. I don't know your guys' schedules. Because tomorrow I have Doki Doki Literature Club, which means that I can continue to do this theoretically. I don't know your guys' schedules, but am I able to start earlier if you guys are here? I don't want to start and then you guys miss it. You know what I mean? But let's keep going for right now a little bit. All right. Let's keep going for a little bit right now. All right. Shorter the focal length, the wider the angle of view. The longer the focal length, narrow angle of view. It is thought that a kit lens focal length between 35 50 millimeters gives us the closest angle to our actual vision. That's great, Rose, but can we get some more visual charts to understand this? Sure you can. Granted, this will not be the exact focal length charts, but more of a general idea. Each lens has a focal point the lens will focus on. Or I should say a focal plane, which is like a sheet of paper that is in focus and not just a single point. But to better visualize it, we will just focus on one point. Alright, once again, these are not exact measurements, but let's pretend to standardize lens at 50 millimeters. We have light that's bouncing off the red, off of our red focus point to the lens. From there, the lens bends and redirects the light into the camera sensor. From this, with all the light from all the angle. This happens with all light from all angles, so the sensor will be filled with information to create more pictures. Because I'll keep going right now, but tomorrow, if I can start earlier, I will. If you guys are able to come here earlier, I can start earlier. You know what I mean? Here's a standard kit lens, closer up with the lens sensors or focal length in view. We'll move it back. We'll move it back now. We'll move it back now. We'll move it back now. We can see the focus point is closer if we use a wide angle lens than a standard lens. Opposite of a telephoto lens. But you can get enough info, but you got enough info from that to understand. But you got enough info from that to understand. I'm gonna let's... Alright, I'm gonna make sure that... something I can do as well is I can skip the lectures if you want. Let's go to the difference between a prime and zoom lenses. Prime lenses are lenses with one focus point due to only having one focal length, such as a 18mm wide-angle lens. Zoom lenses have two focal points, a minimum focal length and a maximum focal length, since 14 to 85. Does this chart confuse you? Good. It should. If you read it and go through it longer, it will make sense. You can twist the ring on the lens to make the focal point change on the lens to anything in between. To anything between the minimum and maximum focal alright, such as 18mm. You can twist. I already did that. There are pros and cons of using prime or zoom lenses. Zooms tend to be alright. Well, what did I do here? All right. So, you guys have still just gotten the... And I'll make a Twitter post. I feel bad that... I mean, I hope you're enjoying it in some ways, but still you've only gotten like the normal parts. So I will do, let me look at the schedule, because it's Friday the... So Halloween I will be, let's see my schedule, what I wrote. Mystery game is Saturday. So the weekend I would be playing Resident Evil. Okay. That's the weekend. I'll write a post because I don't want to start earlier if some of you guys, because Moon Ghost and that, you're like the main people that are here, and I don't want to start without you guys. But I do post... I will post, hopefully... I will post the actual, like, gameplay all the way through on YouTube when it gets done. But, let's see, let's hope. Thank goodness. Okay, good. It's been recording. Okay, so I gotta stop it here. Thank you again for joining. We're gonna get through this. I'm going to give a poll on Twitter.
Speak up, please.
But the best I can do on top of this, like Moon Ghost especially, is that I can start. Well, here's what. Yeah, I can start really early. I can start earlier. Or I can go through it once get it all done and then read it for you guys, but I'd rather not do that way. So I'm going to put up a poll. We're going to see. I really want to get back to Resident Evil. I forgot some of the controls. I need to remember how to do those. Okay? So we'll see you tomorrow, same time, if not a little bit earlier. All right? Take care here. You guys are the best. And bye.